boya ebe lansang abon biye kombo na lolome akon behengo anyol bonvanane bekwarbe awelan bekwarbe amunduru bekwarbe aliye ne yebo ebe ekombo yebur bobse benga keli livanane ele ekombo ye lolome.
Ensemble, main dans la main pour préserver l'unité de notre cher et beau pays, le Cameroun.
C'est un message de Royal FM, la radio des auditeurs.
Vous êtes sur Royal FM, il est 18h.
Royal Soir bilingue.
Olivier Ndema et Pop.
Germaine Ta.
Le journal.
Lundi 12 juin 2023, bonsoir. Chementa, good evening.
Good evening, Dema Epo, Olivier, ladies and gentlemen. Up next are our top stories.
Mutuelle d'assistance et de solidarité, jour J-27 pour la fin de l'acte 3. Nous aurons dans ce journal des échos en agence ainsi que quelques dispositions pratiques à l'attention des mutualistes.
2 bills to authorize the head of state to ratify the air transport agreement between the government of Cameroon and that of Algeria and other countries have been tabled today.
Et puis, comment mettre fin au travail des enfants? Telle est la question que l'Organisation internationale du travail pose en ce 12 juin, journée mondiale de lutte contre le travail des enfants. Dans ce journal, nous recevrons des explications d'un juriste quant aux dispositions de la loi camerounaise sur la question.
Royal Soir, première partie. Olivier Ndema et Pop.
Mutuelle d'assistance et de solidarité. Masso, la fièvre monte à 27 jours de la cérémonie de tirage au sort au Palais Polyvalent des Sports de Yaoundé, c'est le Paposi. Cette cérémonie va marquer la fin de l'acte 3 de la Masso. Côté mutualiste, c'est à qui s'acquittera de ses cotisations annuelles à temps auprès des agences de Renapro Finance SA. Ce lundi, nous nous sommes intéressés à l'agence Renapro de Ngousso. Bertrand Bois y était. Voici son reportage.
C'est l'assurance à santé. Quand j'avais su qu'il y a 10 membres de la famille derrière la Masso classique, c'est ça qui m'a fait intéresser.
Mohamedou, la quarantaine sonnée, est mutualiste pour la toute première fois de sa vie. Le père de 4 enfants dit avoir été convaincu par la vision et les actions concrètes de la mutuelle d'assistance et de solidarité, aussi bien à l'acte 1 qu'à l'acte 2. Et comme lui, Thiofo William et Bella Claudine Commerçant sont présents à l'agence Renapro Finance S. Ngousso pour solder leurs cotisations annuelles à Masso Classique.
Je suis un chef de famille. J'ai vu que passant par la Masso, j'allais mieux.
Je fais un petit truc où parfois je vends même le maïs, le manioc. Pour la Masso, c'est la première fois. J'ai fini une fois.
Vous avez cotisé combien?
26 000.
En-quête de fonds de commerce pour relancer leurs différentes activités, les néo-mutualistes espèrent bien bénéficier des financements de projets lors de la tombola le 9 juillet prochain au Palais Polyvalent des Sports de Yaoundé.
Une grande maison.
Moi, je suis d'abord commerçant. S'il y a des sous, c'est avec ça que moi, je vais relancer mon compte.
Pour le commerce, non. Pour le petit somme qui commence même là pour l'avancement de mes activités. Même si je ne gagne pas cette année, peut-être l'année prochaine, si c'est Dieu qui prévoit tout.
Ouverte le 17 avril 2023, l'agence Renapro Finance SA de Ngousso enregistre à ce jour plus de 120 mutualistes dans son portefeuille. Si le chiffre est salutaire, les mécanismes sont adoptés pour élargir ce portefeuille des mutualistes. Jean-Jacques, directeur d'agence.
Nous appelons nos mutualistes par téléphone, nous faisons tout pour les joindre pour qu'ils puissent non seulement terminer leur fiche de cotisation et remplir également leur fiche de préidentification. Le message que j'envoie à la clientèle, c'est dans la masse là, vous pouvez venir vous inscrire, vous mutualiser sur place en versant vos 26 000 si c'est Masso classique et 52 000 si c'est Masso Gold, 132 000 et autres. Les portes sont ouvertes, nous sommes là tous les jours. Dès que vous versez vos cotisations, nous vous remettons la fiche de préidentification immédiatement.
Il faut donc rappeler que la date butoir des cotisations est fixée au 29 juin 2023 à 16h avec la mutuelle d'assistance et de solidarité de Renapov Finance SA, l'acteur majeur de la microfinance au Cameroun depuis 1996. Cheminons ensemble pour une vie épanouie et pleine de bonheur.
Dans le cadre de Masso Classique, les mutualistes ont gagner de nombreux appareils pour leurs diverses activités rémunératrices de revenus. Quelles sont les dispositions? Quelles dispositions faut-il prendre? Quelles sont les conditions à remplir pour être compté parmi les potentiels bénéficiaires de cette offre? Anne-Priscille Koubitep en parle.
Les heureux mutualistes du tirage au sort de l'acte 3 dans la rubrique Masso Classique, activité génératrice de revenus, bénéficient de 200 lots, moulins à écraser, machines à glace, machines à popcorn et réfrigérateurs pour boissons gazeuses. Chacune de ces offres sont d'une valeur de 750 000 francs CFA. La personne tirée au sort devra impérativement déposer 20% de la valeur de l'offre représentant la caution pour entrer en possession de l'appareil. Ces 150 000 francs CFA devront être versés 45 jours au plus tard après la clôture de la cérémonie de tirage au sort, faute de quoi le potentiel bénéficiaire ne pourra entrer en possession du moulin à écraser ou de la machine à glace, au sel à popcorn ou encore du réfrigérateur pour boissons gazeuses. Cette offre acquise sera remise aux bénéficiaires après la signature d'accord avec Renaprov Finance SA. L'appareil destiné aux mutualistes ne sera ni remplacé, ni changé, ni substitué aux tierces pour quelque raison que ce soit.
Comment mettre fin au travail des enfants? Telle est la question que pose l'Organisation internationale du travail, c'est l'OIT. Ce 12 juin est en effet la journée mondiale de lutte contre le travail des enfants. 160 millions d'enfants sont en effet concernés par ce fléau à travers le monde. Et au Cameroun, le fléau existe également. Que dit la loi camerounaise sur la question? Raïssa Moko s'est entretenue avec le juriste Christian Guinjo. Nous l'écoutons.
Au sujet du travail des enfants, les différents textes nationaux et internationaux sont clairs. L'enfant doit être protégé de toute forme d'exploitation économique et de l'exercice d'un travail qui pourrait perturber sa santé, son développement ou son éducation. Dr Christian Indio, juriste, se veut plus explicite.
Il y a un ensemble d'activités dont les enfants doivent être épargnés. Il y a même à l'intérieur des activités autorisées des conditions de protection de l'enfant, notamment des horaires et des tâches à effectuer.
L'encadrement juridique repose donc sur le principe de protection. Une personne âgée de moins de 18 ans doit bénéficier de cette couverture.
Le Code du travail continue dans cette lancée en autorisant au ministre du Travail de prendre un arrêté. C'est ainsi que nous avons un arrêté de 1969 à l'époque fédérale relatif au travail des enfants. Cet arrêté détermine les différents travaux qui sont interdits quand ce sont en réalité des travaux qui excèdent la force de ces enfants. On a, à titre d'exemple, des travaux de transport sur brouette. Il est interdit d'employer les enfants aux travaux souterrains, dans les mines, dans les carrières.
Les contrevenants aux principes et règles qui protègent l'enfant s'exposent à des sanctions pécuniaires. Le Code du travail prévoit une amende de 100 000 à 1 million de francs CFA. Ajoutons que c'est une amende multipliée par le nombre d'enfants exploités. Et selon l'Organisation internationale du travail, près de 9 enfants sur 10 qui travaillent vivent en Afrique. C'est pour cette raison que sur le plan africain, il y a également une batterie de mesures. Dr Christian Indio.
Les sanctions sont un peu politisées, si on peut le dire, parce qu'il y a un comité chargé de la protection des enfants. Ce comité, donc, mène des investigations et élabore un rapport qu'il adresse à la conférence des chefs d'État et de gouvernement. Et c'est donc cette conférence qui est chargée de prendre au final des mesures de correction des différentes réglementations élaborées au plan national.
L'enfant dans sa phase de construction, au lieu d'une exposition à l'exploitation, doit plutôt bénéficier d'une protection.
En politique, Mouvement pour la Renaissance du Cameroun, Maître Michel Ndoki et 2 autres cadres sont traduits devant la Commission nationale de médiation et d'arbitrage du parti pour diffamation, déclaration mensongère et activités anti-parti. Vous revenez sur la plainte du secrétaire général et les incidences de cette tension sur le fonctionnement du parti. Jean-Marie Anaba.
L'OMRC n'appartient pas à Maurice Kamto, a soutenu Maître Michel Ndoki sur sa page Twitter le 7 juin 2023 pour s'opposer à la supposée exclusion de son camarade Maître Tamfou Richard qui a critiqué l'âge du président national. Pour le secrétaire général, Maître Ndon Christophe Mvejo au téléphone, il s'agit des allégations mensongères et diffamatoires qui frisent une conspiration avec le régime dans le but de détruire l'OMRC et son leader.
On n'a pas encore finalement pris la décision. Il dit on a exclu Tamfou, on n'a pas exclu Tamfou. Et c'est dans le réseau social pendant qu'on a exclu dans le parti, c'est ce qui est faux. C'est pas le problème de Noki. J'ai encore écrit pour dire que c'est le MRC avec son leader qui saccage les ambassades, qui fait le boycott des artistes.
Face à ces actes qui cachent bien la bataille pour la succession de Maurice Kamto, la vice-présidente nationale des femmes du MRC, Maître Tamfou Richard et Armand Noutak II, qui ont décidé de garder le silence, sont traduits devant la Commission nationale des médiations et d'arbitrage pour leur éventuelle exclusion. Des tensions qui s'expliquent par le boycott des législatives et municipales de 2020, selon le politologue Paul-Stéphane Menunga.
Vous savez très bien que la politique est devenue un métier et chaque personne qui pratique ce métier devrait vivre de ce métier. En décidant de boycotter ces élections, le mouvement pour la renaissance du Cameroun a brisé le rêve de plusieurs de ses militants. Et la conséquence a été la fracture de la dynamique qu'on a observée autour de ce parti avant, pendant et après l'élection présidentielle.
En attendant le verdict de l'instance disciplinaire du parti qui doit siéger dès ce lundi, le politologue appelle à la dépersonnification du MRC et à l'instauration d'un véritable jeu démocratique si l'on veut sauver ce parti à quelques mois de sa convention nationale.
La page sportive.
Les combinaisons des quarts de finale de la Coupe du Cameroun de football sont connues au terme des rencontres des huitièmes de finale qui sont disputées le week-end dernier. Voici donc ces affiches. Stade de Banjul contre Stade de Bertois, Victoria United de Limbe contre Fofut Baham, Colombe du Djaï Lobo contre Edding Sport de Laliki et puis PWD de Bamenda contre Dynamo de Douala.
The second part of the news in the English language with Germaine Ta.
Hello there. Two bills to authorize the President of the Republic to ratify the air transport agreement between the government of Cameroon and that of Algeria, as well as another on the Framework Cooperation Agreement between the Republic of Cameroon and the Eastern Republic of Uruguay, have been scrutinized by the Foreign Affairs Committee of the National Assembly, defended by the Ministers of Transport and External Relations. Both legal instruments, if ratified, will offer new opportunities for Cameroon and Algeria in the air transport sector and pave the way for negotiations leading to the signing of Pacific Partnership Agreement in several sectors between Cameroon and Uruguay. On one of our lead stories, less than 27 days to the raffle draw ceremony, which will take place at the Yaoundé Multi-Purpose Sport Complex, and 17 days left for mutualists to finalize with their registration and contributions into the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity Maso Act 3. Mutualists of the Ngusso Renapro Finance SA had been grabbing an agency to complete their contribution so as to stand a better chance of benefiting from the Maso. Eratus Due has the details.
Getting closer to the D-Day, mutualists of the Ngusso neighborhood have been braving all odds to be up to date ahead of the giant revelation on July 9th of the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity Maso Act 3. After being persuaded of the goodwills that comes with Maso, Novice, Chofo Williams and Bella Claudine have been optimistic to be beneficiaries of the raffle draws, a reason why they came to the Ngusso Ndruna Pro Finance SA to finalize with their contributions.
I am the head of my family, and I knew that using the Maso would greatly help me.
I sell a multitude of things. At times I sell maize or cassava. It's my first time taking part in the Maso, and I contributed all my 26,000 francs at once.
Cognizant of the benefits that abounds in Maso, these ones have already proceeded on how they are going to use their finances should in case they won that day.
I'm a businessman, and if there are funds, I will use it to boost my business.
For commercial purposes, whatever I get, I will start up a business. And if I don't win this year, maybe next year I will, because it is God that provides.
Being the sovereign one who knows who will end up being the beneficiary, over 120 mutualists have marked their names on the register of the Ngusu Renapro Finance SA records. Though not enough, Ebandabene Jean-Jacques is the director of the said agency, and he calls on many to hasten up with their footsteps to register.
We
do everything to reach our mutualists, even on phone, so that they can not only finalize with their contribution, but also fill their pre-identification form. We call on our clients to mutualize Maso. They can come and register with Maso Classic, which is 26,000 francs and 52,000 francs for Maso Gold, 132,000 francs and others. Our doors are widely open and we are here every day. And when you give your contribution, we hand you over the pre-identification form immediately.
Worthy of note is the fact that contribution into the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity ends on June 29 this month at 4 p.m. in all Renapro Finance SA agencies and its affiliates.
Eratus doing that report. As the countdown to the Maso Archery Raffle draw ceremony continues, it is important to note that prizes won during the Maso Raffle draw can be easily withdrawn by the benefiting mutualist if only the following procedures are respected. Get details with Fino Crispin.
If you happen to emerge winner for grinding machine, a refrigerator for gratified drinks, and ice cream machines, 45 days after the raffle draw ceremony is the deadline given for any winner to follow necessary dispositions in order to come in contact with the prize won. With those 45 days, the benefiting mutualists will have to make a deposit that represents 30% of the prize won. The prize will be handed over to the beneficiary only after an agreement contract has been signed between Renapro Finance SA and the set mutualists. It is worth mentioning that the offer cannot be replaced or changed. Moreover, these procedures must be respected. By the mutualist failure to do so, the latter may not be eligible to come in possession with the prize won during the raffle draw ceremony.
Until as societal peace, social justice for all, and child labor is the theme under which this year's edition of World Day Against Child Labor is being celebrated. Instituted by the UN, the day is intended to raise awareness about the urgency of eradicating child labor. The UN believes child labor can be eliminated from the world if people and governments focus on the root cause and understand social justice and child labor are interlinked. Eva Itonge-Maye is a human rights activist. She begins by explaining what child labor is all about.
The roll call has to start at 7 o'clock. Every candidate should present the school ID card and his number. The number are already there on their various tables. So they had to start with French, as I said earlier, French literature, after that language, and they had to finish with history in the afternoon. They should not go out of the campus because it is a national exam, and they had 3 subjects to write today. This year we have got 13 schools who are writing in our campus, and the candidates are 665. The administration of the school does not have a serious role to play because the probatoire board is sending, they used to send their members in order to preside the exam. So the school is there to make sure that everything is going on smoothly. But the ministry has taken care of everything.
That was rather the students across the nation that were sitting in this morning for the probatoire examination, and the chief of the center was speaking there to our reporter Annie Lisette Ambassa. And we come back to talk about the child labor to say that Eva Itonge-Maye, who is a human rights activist, comes back on the importance what is child labor all about.
Child labor is coming like an activity whereby you expose a child and where you hindrance his education, you hindrance his development, because normally they will tell you that the child need to sleep for him to grow better. But so when a child will get 4 o'clock to start a job, maybe, and sleep after midnight, you don't expect that child to grow in good conditions where they expect him to grow for him to have a better future. So for me, child labor is any activity where you expose a child who is maybe below the age of 14, between 14 and 18, and to some activity where his education, his development will be jeopardized. The first cause is poverty. Poverty in societies. You combine the poverty issue with the issue of education, because today we still have a lot of parents who are not educated, and that is how it goes from parents to children. Because when the parent is not educated and he's living in real poverty, the tendency is that he's not going to go and steal or to do otherwise for the children to be educated. And some of the children, either in their houses or they are being sent to some family members who maybe misuse these children.
The human rights activist Yvette Ongemayer rounds up by outlining some ways to curb the phenomenon of child labor.
There are many regulations that are there to fight against child labor, but I think the main thing that must be done in a country is to strengthen the legislation, maybe to make sure to capture all the instances of child labor, because for me it's a complex phenomenon. They must make sure to capture all the instances where you can speak on child labor and make sure that they take appropriate measure to fight against this child labor. Beside the legislation, there should be a matter of information, sensitization at the level of families and also at the level of enterprises for them not to continue to use children in this difficult situation. And also there must be a matter of protection, because it's not all to sensitize, to educate the society or enterprises or maybe children themselves, but also you must fight the cases that are already known.
As World Day Against Child Labor is greater today in Cameroon and around the world, the question on the difficulties faced by these children who carry out petty creed to earn some money is coming up. Crystal Mando went down the streets of Yaoundé and sought to know from these kids what they encounter as difficulties when working.
It is in markets that these children are mostly seen doing small businesses to earn some money. According to sellers in the Mfundi market, customers' dishonesty is one of the problems these children encountered. Yolande is a seller.
There was once a day, there was a young little boy that carried one woman things, and she went and left that woman entered the vehicle without not paying that child. On coming back, that little guy was crying.
The ages of these kids are not always advantageous for them, thus the absence of physical strength.
My name is Amin Marafat. The business I do is for holidays, and the business is pushing of wheelbarrow. I'm doing the business with my parents, and some difficulty I can face is I cannot carry some heavy bag like bag of onion, bag of Irish potatoes. When I am carrying my hand are paining.
These adolescents also face problems with their daily revenue, as one of these children explained.
Sometimes I'm not selling much, so I'm going back home with less money, and I need to take transport, so I don't have too much money to take transport. I'm walking up to the house with legs. The money that they gave me.
What they do is go back to the villages, collect some children, and then come, and those children are doing just any chore. They don't consider the child's age to the type of work that they give to the child, and it is very normal. The society is not saying anything, the government is not saying anything. And I also want to say that it is because of the fact that our government too has normalized it. We don't have institutions that are put in place, even though there is the social service, but they don't follow up to see that these children are actually suffering.
The sociologist Queenie Victorine reacting there on today's observation of Child Labor Day. The recent meeting between Cameroon Oil Transformation Company and the Isle of Chad's Oil Transportation Company in Paris, France, witnessed top officials of the National Hydrocarbons Corporation confronting opinions of the representative of the Ministry of Finance, who they see her opinions do not favor Cameroon's interest in the Chad's oil transportation By so doing, a letter from the head of the National Hydrocarbons Corporation was addressed to the presidency for an immediate eviction of the Minfi representative, but the presidency rejected the call and maintained the Minfi representative to work with SNH over Chad's oil transportation. Johnny Bay is a political observer and now give his take.
It is really a sad and confusing. And this is not the first time we see government disagreeing. We have seen the Prime Minister disagree with ministers, and this time around it is really becoming pathetic because they go and disagree in France, which is a shame. But I want to think that maybe if the presidency of the Republic that wants the interest of Cameroon in that oil deal decides to maintain representative of the Minister of Finance, going contrary to what the recommendations of the National Hydrocarbons, I think that the presidency, which is very much informed, must have dictated that the National Hydrocarbons, those managing it, must have soiled their hands or they have been involved in dubious transactions. The representative of Cameroon from the presidency should be maintained. The hydrocarbons should keep on working on the interest. But it is also shameful. Why did the two of them not agree before going for the meeting? President of the Republic, who appoints directors of state corporations, does not respect the law. That's that if you are a director, you have 3 years renewable tries. That means you can be there only for 9 years maximum and you go away. But in Cameroon, we have people who have been there for 25 years, 30 years. That is for the president's own selfish interest and those people. I don't know whether they are using magic on him or even the press has written, called names, and the president does not want. So he cannot say that he does not have a hand. He carries part of the blame on what is happening in hydrocarbons and other state corporations that have been managed by directors that have overdue their stay following the law in Cameroon. So there is a problem there, and the president of the Republic knows better where that problem is. It is only him and Ferdinand Gongo who can try to sort out that problem so that peace should reign again between Chad and Cameroon, and so that the image of Cameroon should be preserved.
Away from Cameroon, military men from a group known as Codeco Cooperative Development of the Congo have been blamed for an attack on a car for the displaced in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo that left more than 40 people dead. According to officials, the group stormed Lala camp early this morning. They shot and hacked residents before setting fire to hurt. And in sports, the president of GICO FC Banjul, Joseph Fletcher, has resigned as a member of FECAFOOT Executive Committee. This decision comes after the retired captain's club was relegated into the Elite 2 Championship, even though they were ranked 7 and never played the last match of the just ended campaign. He stated this reason in a letter made public on June 10, 2023, addressing his resignation letter to FECAFOOT's president Samuel Eto'o. The resignation of Captain Fletcher Joseph adds the suspension of 2 of the FECAFOOT Executive Committee members. And that note in sport draws the curtain of our 6 p.m. bilingual news on Royal FM 88.4. Premier Lekume was a sound technician, video editor Jean-Marie Otto, producer Regwan Taman Evans, William Zobati, script editors Raissa Moko and Crystal Mando, news editors Germain Tambek Raouna, editorial coaching Elbel Bella Samari, coordination Jean Pasantala, general supervision Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel, and for presentation we are
Olivier Ndemaipo
and Germain Ta. Thanks for always tuning in to Royal FM 88.4. Olivier, good evening Olivier.
Bonsoir Germain. Le journal s'achève, mais nous vous laissons en compagnie de Francis Libera. C'est dans le cadre de Royal Show.
Bonsoir Olivier, bonsoir GT, bonsoir à tous. Je suis là pour la suite des programmes sur Royal FM jusqu'à 21h. L'émission, c'est Royal Show Hit. Restez connectés. J'aurai 2 invités ce soir. L'artiste Victoire Feeling qui marque son grand retour, son comeback. Et bien sûr, l'artiste Chris M. À chacun sa chance. Elle sera également des nôtres ce soir. Restez connectés. La radio va chauffer. À tout de suite.